You didn't plan for this. You didn't sit down one day and think, yes, this is the moment I blow up everything and start over. No, it crept up on you slowly and then all at once. Maybe it was the job that stopped feeling like yours. Maybe it was the quiet realization that you had spent years building something that didn't belong to you. Maybe it was looking at your retirement account and feeling a knot in your stomach that didn't go away. Whatever got you here, you're here, standing at the edge of something new, something terrifying, something that feels equal parts necessary and impossible. And the part nobody talks about? You're doing this while retirement is not some far off abstract idea. It's close, close enough to feel real. Close enough to make every decision feel heavier than it should. If that's where you are right now, this video is for you. I'm Tanya, I'm 50, and I'm in this with you. And today I want to tell you what starting over at this stage actually looks like. Not the polished version, not the highlight reel, the real version. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is for women who are building something real in the middle of real life. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Nobody prepares you for how quiet it is. There's no announcement, no applause. No one's handing you a trophy and saying, congratulations, you're starting over. No, it's just you, a decision, and a silence that feels louder than anything you've ever heard. Here's what I want you to know. What you're feeling is not weakness. It's not a sign that you made the wrong choice. It's the weight of something real. Starting over at 50 is not just a career change, it's an identity shift. You are shedding a version of yourself that you have been for years, maybe decades. The fixer, the safe one, the woman who had it together. And even if that version of you was exhausting, even if you are relieved to leave it behind, there is still grief in letting her go. Grief that looks like crying in the car for no reason you can fully explain. Grief that looks like picking up the phone to call a colleague you haven't spoken to in months and then putting it down again. Grief that looks like scrolling past announcements from people who are still in the world you just left and feeling something you weren't expecting to feel. I've had all of those moments. I still have them sometimes. That grief is real. Give it room. You're allowed to be scared and still moving. You're allowed to miss the old certainty while you reach for something new. Those two things can exist at the same time. What you're feeling is not a warning sign. It is the cost of doing something brave. And brave women still feel afraid. They just don't let afraid be the final answer. Starting over at 25 feels like an adventure. Starting over at 50 feels like a risk you cannot afford to get wrong. And I want to say something about that because I think a lot of women are carrying this quietly and not saying it out loud. The stakes are real. I'm not going to pretend they aren't. You may be watching your retirement account and wondering if there's enough time. You may be supporting aging parents while also trying to save. You may still have kids who are close to college or already there, and you're doing the math in your head at 2 a.m. and it doesn't always add up. That is not irrational. That is real life. And I want to sit with that for just a moment because too many people skip past it, right? They jump straight to the motivation. You've got this and it's never too late. But you don't need someone to tell you it's never too late before they've actually acknowledged what's on your plate. So I'm acknowledging it. The pressure is real. The math is real. The clock is real. And now here's what I've learned. The clock being real doesn't mean it's too late. It means the reason to start is more urgent than ever. Think about it this way. If you stay where you are in the job that drains you, in the business that isn't working, in the life that doesn't fit, retirement doesn't get better. The clock doesn't slow down because you played it safe. But if you move even slowly, even imperfectly, even while you're scared, you give yourself a chance, a real one. That chance is worth something. It's worth everything. The urgency you feel is not a reason to freeze. It's a reason to choose one thing and move it forward. The clock is the same for all of us. The question is what we do while it's running. Everyone says follow your passion, right? Nobody tells you what to do when your passion has a mortgage attached to it. When I started building Grow with Tanya and Scale Without Noise, I had no audience. I had no playbook, no roadmap that was built for a 50-year-old woman starting from scratch while managing a household and trying to figure out what I was even doing. I watched younger creators move faster, build bigger, figure things out that took me 3 times as long. And I won't lie to you, the comparison was hard. Some days it still is. But here's the thing about comparison at this stage. You are not comparing apples to apples. A 28-year-old building a business online is starting from a very different place than you are. She may move faster right now, but she doesn't have what you have. She hasn't managed a team through a crisis and kept her head. She hasn't sat with a grieving parent and known exactly what to say. She hasn't rebuilt after a loss, a job, a relationship, a version of herself, and found a way forward anyway. She hasn't earned what you've earned. The decades you've spent learning how to manage people, navigate hard conversations, show up consistently when everything in you wanted to stop, carry responsibility without breaking. That is not irrelevant. That is your edge. Starting without a playbook is not a disadvantage. Your life experience, that's the playbook. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from wisdom. And that is not a small thing. The comparison trap will tell you you're behind. The truth is, you're different. And different at this stage is actually an advantage. Your experience is the thing nobody else in her niche can replicate. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need one thing you can do today. Here's what I know about overwhelm, and I know it because I live it. When everything feels important, nothing moves. You sit down to work, you look at the list, and it's so long and so heavy that your brain just stops. Not because you're lazy, because that's what happens when a brain is genuinely overloaded. So let's skip past that part because you already know that you're not lazy. Here's the thing that actually breaks the cycle. One question. What is the one thing, if I moved it forward today, that will make the biggest difference right now? Not the most urgent, not the most impressive, not the one that's been sitting on the list the longest, but the one thing. That's it. That's the whole framework. Choose one thing, move it forward, then choose again. I built an entire community, Scale Without Noise, around this idea because I've seen it work. Not just for me, for women who are carrying more than they should have to carry, building something real in the middle of real life. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to choose one thing and start there. You don't need to solve everything today. You need one starting point. And once you have that, you're moving. That's enough. Actually, that's more than enough. So here's what I want to leave you with. Starting over at 50, when retirement is close and the stakes are real, and you're managing a full life while trying to build something new, it is one of the hardest, bravest things a woman can do. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not broken. You are carrying something heavy and you are still showing up. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how much that matters? You don't need to have it all figured out. You need one thing to move forward, and you don't need to do it alone. If you want a place where you can slow down, choose one thing, and move it forward alongside other women who understand exactly what you're carrying, come join me inside Scale Without Noise. It's my free community. There's a link in the description. When you get inside, start with the Overwhelm Sorter. It is a simple free tool that helps you get everything out of your head, sort through what is on your plate, and choose one starting point. We also do weekly co-working sessions called Sip and Focus, so you don't have to keep trying to build your business in the cracks of your life all by yourself. Because sometimes you do not need another big plan. You need a place to put the mess down, look at it clearly, and decide what deserves your attention next. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Tanya, I hear you, but I genuinely don't know what my one thing is. I don't even know where to start sorting through it all. I made a video exactly for that. It's linked right here. Go watch it, and I'll see you there.